Are you stuck? Let's get you unstuck. Hey there, Enterprisers, what's good? This is Jason Lago here again with Always Enterprise. And in this video, I want to talk to you about how you can unstuck your stuckness in your online business. That's right, how to unstuck your stuckness in your online business. Now, if you've been in business for any amount of time, whether you're just getting started or you're a seasoned veteran, odds are you have definitely experienced at least one time or another this whole feeling of being stuck. And it comes in many different forms, whether it's you're just getting started and you're trying to consume the proper training and the learning that's necessary for you to take action, or whether it's just the initial phases of actually taking that action and getting things moving, all the way up until you're already experienced in trying to decipher and discover and really deploy your next big offering, your next thing. We all get stuck at one time or another. With that said, I want to go ahead and offer you 4 awesome, classic but conventional, but also creative different ways that you can go ahead and get unstuck. And so a lot of these may come as surprises to you, a lot of them won't, but in any case, I'm hopeful that at least one of these 4 things is helpful to you so that you can get unstuck and get back to moving forward, making money, being happy. That's what it's all about. Let's get into it. Number 1, chunky monkey. Chunky monkey. That's right. You heard that correctly. Not only is that a very, very good flavor of one of my favorite ice cream brands, but it's a good way to think about a 2-pronged approach to getting unstuck. And that is very simply chunky monkey. All right. The first word, the emphasis is chunky. So in other words, what you should be doing here is you should be chunking your tasks down into bite-sized tasks rather than just this big old project that tends to be overwhelming. Okay. So everything in between that is, that comprises your overall task, break it down into bite-sized chunks. And that way you can slowly tick those off your to-do list and experience the sense of accomplishment that comes with that. On top of that, by doing so, from a practical standpoint, the size of your task, the size of your project, all of a sudden the enormity is not the main focus here. It's something that you can absolutely tackle because you're doing things little by little. So for instance, building a website is a daunting task to many. It certainly is for me. Building a web page and a website from scratch is not something that I'm interested in, not something that I ever think I'd be good at, even if I'm using these amazing tools that I use in my business, like ClickFunnels, which is a great software that helps you build sales funnels and landing pages and so on. Again, from a technical standpoint, it's still really hard to do. So rather than look at the entire project and say I need to build out an entire funnel or an entire website or an entire web page, what I do is chunk it down into small, manageable tasks. For instance, what do I want the opt-in box to look at? Where is my headline going to go? What's it going to look like? What's the color going to be? What's it going to say? And then from there, slowly, I build out the rest of the web page. And before you know it, I have a fully functional sales funnel that's in place that is ready to start collecting leads and making me money. The second part of chunky monkey is obviously that word monkey. And that's just a good way for you to remember monkey business. In other words, have a little bit of fun with it, okay? In business, especially the online business, you are in control. You have creative control, you have creative authority. So therefore, it's entirely up to you how you're gonna go about this thing. Obviously, you have a set of guidelines and rules that you should be following, especially as you're trying to optimize your efforts. However, have some fun with it, okay? In my example here, I'm talking about a website page, a web page, a sales funnel. Some people are gonna tell you and swear up and down by the colors that you should use. And I'm telling you that there are no hard and fast rules, okay? That's a perfect example. A lot of people think that, red is a good color, but if you want to experiment with neon green or yellow, or put some funny headlines, or put some entertaining images instead of what comes stock or what comes recommended by any kind of mentoring program you're in, I say go for it. Marketing is all about testing anyway, so don't remove the creativity, don't remove the fun aspect. You've also heard, likely if you've been in business, that the people who enjoy their work the most are the most successful. The people who really love what they do, and enjoy what they do, it doesn't feel like work to them. So please, by all means, chunk it down into small tasks, have a lot of fun with it. Chunky monkey. Number 2, phone a friend. Phone a friend, okay? Classic lifeline time. When you're stuck, you want to call someone, right? And so they obviously employed that in a very top favorite game show from days past, but it's a great mentality for you to have as well. So often when you're an entrepreneur, it's so easy for you to say, you know what, I'm in charge, I'm in control, and kind of as a result, you subliminally or subconsciously isolate yourself from the rest of the world because you're meant to tackle this whole thing by yourself. And the reality is that's just not the case. Even some of the most top performing producers out there and some of the most high functioning executives out there still rely on each other and still call people up for different things in order to lean on them and to have them hold them accountable. So there's no reason why you shouldn't do that too. One of the easiest ways to get unstuck is to call someone, right? Call a friend. Obviously, it makes sense to call a friend who understands your situation and has maybe a little bit of experience that's relative to the work that you're stuck on. But call someone, right? Reach out to someone, whether it's a friend, a coach, a mentor, and get your questions answered and go ahead and find inspiration in what they do. And hopefully that'll help you get unstuck. This is also why it's important for you to participate in things like mastermind groups and mastermind communities and jump into organizations and communities that foster this type of peer-to-peer mentoring that helps everyone grow. All right. The more business relationships that you have of this caliber are only going to be beneficial to you as a person, as an entrepreneur. So phone a friend. Number 3, bust a move. Bust a move. That's right. I said bust a move. All right. In other words, move around. And I'll let you determine what is best for you and what you like to do with regards to movement. Okay. But movement is so important. Nothing is worse than just frustratedly staring at a blank screen. Right. The only thing that makes it worse is if you continue to do it. So take the time to step away from it. All right. Make a little bit of time and bust a move. Okay. I would suggest things like walking around the block, going out for some fresh air. All right. That goes a long way to help you clear your mind. Also, things that you can do include working out. All right. If you're like me, I keep weights nearby the desk so I can bust out a quick kettlebell workout or swing the kettlebell or push pull and push the dumbbells around. I also have a rebounder that's not far from me. I also have an elliptical. All right. Or worst comes to worst, I can always go upstairs and wrestle around with my 2 little ones. And those 2 little boys, they beat me up. So it tends to be the most painful, but it's also the most effective, right? It's a great way for me to break a sweat, to get some oxygen in my lungs, and then also, again, just to get some movement about it. The other thing, too, that is important to consider is that maybe you've heard before, if you've been in sales for any amount of time, that motion creates emotion, okay? Motion creates emotion. So it's important for you to move around to generate the emotion, and when you can transfer that energy to whomever your prospect is, whether it's on the phone or on the web page, right? That's going to go a long way to converting more sales for you. I learned this at a long time ago as a young aspiring salesperson in the boiler room on the phone. And even though I didn't have the greatest technical ability at that time in terms of sales, techniques and closing ratios and things like that, one thing that I did notice is that I would always close more and make more sales when I was standing up on the phone with my client, with my prospect, as opposed to sitting down. And so I made a personal commitment at that time to never sit down while I was pitching, especially after making 300, 400 dials just to get someone to pick up and stay on the phone with you. So whenever I got someone on the phone, I would stand up, I would move around, and I would speak with them with high energy, and oftentimes that resulted in many, many different types of sales. So I believe that this will happen for you as well if you put it into practice. Motion creates emotion. Bust a move. Number 4, and finally, take my breath away. Take my breath away. Now, not only is that a classic title from a very popular song in the 80s and 90s, but it's a great way for you to think about some of the most important things that you should be doing, and probably the most important thing you should be doing in your life, which is to breathe. But in this case, I want you to breathe properly, and that is with deep abdominal breathing that helps you relax, release, refocus, and then, of course, just helps you to resume your business. This is a great way to bring focus back into your space, your mindset, and it just helps you feel a lot better. There's a lot of different techniques out there that you can look into that as far as deep abdominal breathing goes, and I encourage you to look into it because it's so important that it's being taught on so many levels to many different groups. Everything from high business masterminds, high-level business masterminds, to sports and yoga and healing and everything in between. Everyone's talking about breathing. All right, so look into it. One of the basic techniques that I could recommend to you for you to look into is something called box breathing. And it's a very great way, again, to simply relax, refocus, and resume your work. It's a great way to get recentered. It's called box breathing, where basically you're spending 4 counts of inhalation, 4 counts of holding that breath without any interruption, 4 counts of exhalation, and then of course holding for 4 counts or pausing for 4 counts before you resume the process. You do that for 3, 4, 5 different rounds, and I tell you, it's almost like you have a natural high going. You're almost a brand new person. It's a great way to revitalize yourself. Try it out. box breathing. There you have it, my friends. Those are 4 simple but practical ways for you to refocus and get unstuck, especially when you hit those seasons where you're completely stuck and frustrated and have a hard time moving forward. I trust that one of these was helpful to you. Let me know in the comment section which one that you're familiar with and which one that you're not familiar with. And you can also let me know which one you intend to start using going forward. This is Jason Ligo with Always Enterprise. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Make sure that you share the video if it's helpful to you. Also hit the notification bell. That way you don't miss out on any more hot new content that I got coming down the pipe just for you. I'll see you next time. Take care.